Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else you might find interesting, check the description. Anyway, I am Aozander. I am joined once again by the legendary Sohen, aka Lunk, aka Dr. Muerte guy person, whose name is currently apparently a Spanish swear word. Anyway, today is Saturday, also known as Saturday, April 30th, 2022. While we're waiting for my co-host to get back, I'm going to start us off here. In 1311, which was 1,711 years ago, the Diocletian persecution of Christians in the Roman Empire ended. Good. Moving on up, quite a bit of a time jump here, which is like what appears to be 1,004 years. In 1315, Eniguren de Marengue was hanged at the instigation of Charles, Count of Valois. Moving on up into 1492, Spain gave Christopher Columbus his commission of exploration. He was then named Admiral of the Ocean Sea, Viceroy, and Governor of any territory he discovered. That's pretty cool. In 1513, Edmund de la Pole, Yorkish pretender of the English to the English throne, was executed on the orders of Henry VIII. Well, yeah, that's what you get for trying to pretend to be somebody. In 1557, Mapuche leader Lautaro was killed by Spanish forces at the Battle of Mantaquito in Chile. Hey, there you are. We're in 1598.
1598. Henry the Fourth of France issues the Edict of Nantes, allowing freedom of religion to the Huguenots.
In 1636, during the 80 Years' War, Dutch Republic forces recapture a strategically important fort from Spain after a 9-month siege. Ooh.
1789, on the balcony of the Federal Hall on Wall Street in New York City, George Washington takes the oath of office to become the first elected President of the United States.
Nice. Really nice. Just a few short years after that, in 1803, the Louisiana Purchase, the United States purchased the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, more than doubling the size of the young nation. Wow. And yeah, if you go check out a map of the Louisiana Purchase, it's like the little L from Louisiana, and then just like, whoa!
Mm-hmm. Everything under the, everything that runs through the Mississippi.
Yep. And all of its tributaries and such.
1812, the territory of Orleans becomes the 18th U.S. state under the name Louisiana.
Oh, wow. Two things, Louisiana, right back to back. That's cool. In 1838, Nicaragua declared independence from the Central American Federation. Cool.
1816, a 65-man French Foreign Legion infantry patrol fights a force of nearly 200 Mexican soldiers, nearly the last man in Hacienda, Cameroon, Mexico.
I don't think it was 200. I think you missed a zero.
Oh, 2,000.
Yeah.
So 65 people fighting 2,000.
Yeah. That's insane. In 1871, the Camp Grant Massacre took place in Arizona Territory. Let's see, the Camp Grant Massacre. Let me look that up real quick. Camp Grant Massacre was an attack on Pinal and Aravipia Apaches who surrendered to the United States Army at Camp Grant, Arizona, along the San Pedro River. So they surrendered and we murdered them all. How nice. That's a great way to repay the people who helped us out when we first settled here. The first Thanksgiving. What happened in 1885?
1885, Governor of New York, David B. Hill signed legislation creating Ni- the, uh, the Nicaragua
Niagara.
Niagara Reservation, the first state park, asserting that Niagara Falls will not be devoted solely to industrial and commercial use.
Good. Good. Can you imagine that great site being just like overtaken by just a dam or something? Like, man, like at some point we got to peel back with our like, you know, uh, society and just like let nature exist. You know. In 1897, J.J. Thomson of the Cavendish Laboratory announced his discovery of the electron as a subatomic particle over 1,800 times smaller than a proton in the atomic nucleus at a lecture at the Royal Institution in London. Ooh.
1900, Hawaii becomes a territory of the United States with Sanford B. Dole as governor.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the Dole fruits. So, like a Dole banana or something.
Or Bob Dole.
Bob Dole. In 1905, Albert Einstein completed his doctoral thesis at the University of Zurich.
In 1925, automaker Dodge Brothers Inc. sold to Dillon Reed and Company for $146 million plus $50 million in charity. For charity.
Yeah. 2 years later, in 1927, the Federal 30 Institute, or Industrial Institute for Women, opened in Alderson, West Virginia, as the first women's federal prison in the United States. Oh. All right. Well, equality. Now you have your own prisons.
Except for the issue won't be different with the soap. They have to do extra stuff for it to happen.
They just use the soap in a way that men don't really use it.
Now, women use soap too.
They do, but they use it in a secondary way as well. Anyway, what happened in 1939?
1939, NBC inaugurates its already scheduled television service in New York City, broadcasting President Franklin D. Roosevelt's NY World Fair opening day ceremony address, which ties into the 1939-1940 New York World Fair opening.
Cool. 4 years later, in 1943, during World War II, the British submarine HMS Seraph surfaced near Haluva to cast adrift a dead man dressed as a courier and carrying false invasion plans. Yes, this was to distract the Germans, thinking that the invasion of Normandy in 1944 was going to come at the Pas-de-Calais, which it wasn't. But he was actually one of the very first and most implemental, aspect of this. And it's really interesting. They just took some random homeless guy and he became probably like one of the most important people in all of history, after he died, which is pretty cool, In 1945, during World War II, Stalag Luft, the first prisoner of war camp near Barth, Germany, was liberated by Soviet soldiers, freeing nearly 9,000 U.S. and British airmen. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, in 1945, World War II Führer bunker Adolf Hitler Eva Braun commits suicide after being married for less than 40 hours. Soviet soldiers raised the victory banner over the Reichstag building.
Now, I'm one of the people who believe that Hitler did not kill himself. But now, by this time, he's most certainly dead. But I think he fled to Argentina. But whatever the case, this is a glorious time in history. And what a honeymoon, man. Really let it in with a bang. And a cyanide capsule. 1947 in Nevada, Boulder Dam was renamed Hoover Dam. I've been there a couple of times.
sounded stupid. But 1948, in Bogota, Colombia, the Organization of the American States is established.
Ah, interesting. 1956, former Vice President and Democratic Senator Alben Barkley died during a speech in Virginia. Wow. So, yeah. What's the guy? Teddy Roosevelt took a bullet during a speech and kept going, and this guy just, died. Anyway, 1957, a supplementary convention of the abolition of slavery entered into force. Took that long.
Right.
Wow.
Probably different country.
Let me look that up. Supplementary Convention on the Abolition of Slavery. Let's see here. The full title of which is the Supplementary Convention on the Abolition of Slavery and Slave Trade Institutions and Practices Similar to Slavery is a 1956 United Nations treaty which built upon the 1926 Slavery Convention, which is still operative and which proposed to secure the abolition of slavery and avoid of the slave trade and the Forced Labor Convention of 1930. But there's quite a bit here to links at least, so I'm just going to post this link of links into the Underbar.
Okay, 1961, K-19, the first Soviet nuclear submarine equipped with nuclear missiles, is commissioned.
Dang. Why don't you take this next one?
1963, the Bristol bus boycott is held in Bristol to protest the Bristol Omnibus Company refusal to employ black or Asian bus crews, drawing national attention to racial discrimination in the United Kingdom.
You know, I agree with that to a certain extent. I mean, stereotypes exist for a reason, and I'm not going to say what stereotype it is, but once you get a certain people behind the wheel of a car, they just, they don't know what to do. Like, I'm in California, I see it all the time, we have a lot of those people. I mean, they're really good at math, and science and all that stuff, but, it's like cars are kryptonite. Anyway, before I get canceled for being a racist bigot, in 1973, during the Watergate scandal, the United States President Richard Nixon announced that White House counsel John Dean had been fired and that other top aides, most notably H.R. Haldeman and John Eichelman, had resigned.
1975, fall of Saigon, Communist forces gain control of Saigon. The Vietnam War formally ends with the unconditional surrender of South Vietnamese President Nguyen Van Minh.
5 short years later, in 1980, Beatrix was inaugurated as Queen of the Netherlands, following the abdication of Juliana.
In 1980, the Iran embassy siege begins in London. Also, 1982, the Beyond Setu Massacre occurs in Calcutta, India.
Beyond Setu Massacre. Let me look that up real quick. How many people were massacred? Let's see here. The Beyond Setu Massacre, or Ananda Margi monks' killing, was the killing and burning of 16 sadhus and a sadhavi belonging to Andala Marga, a new religious movement with Hindu roots at Beyond Setu near Balay Gunj, Kolkata, in West Bengal, India, on April 30th, 1982. Link to the wiki is in the description. In 1993, CERN announced World Wide Web protocols will be free. Well, that's cool. Well, I don't think it's free anymore these days.
1994, Formula One race driver Ronald Ratzenberger is killed in a crash during the qualifying session of the San Marino Grand Prix at the Autodromo Ezio e Dino Ferrari outside Imola, Italy.
Dang. That sucks. 1999, neo-Nazi David Copeland carried out the last of his 3 nail bombings in London at the Admiral Duncan Gay pub, killing 3 people and injuring 79. That's awful, but thank God it was the last one. But yeah.
Also, 2000, canonizing of Faustina Kowalska in the presence of 200,000 people, and the first Divine Mercy Sunday celebrated worldwide.
Nice. 4 years later, in 2004, U.S. media released graphic photos of U.S. soldiers committing war crimes against Iraqi prisoners at Abu Ghraib prison. Abu Ghraib. I remember talking about this the other day. I thought that was the day that news broke, but apparently not.
Oh no, it kept on going.
Oh yeah.
It kept on having 2008, 2 skeletal remains found near Yekaterinburg, Russia, are confirmed by Russian scientists to have been the remains of Alexei and Anastasia, 2 of the children of the last Tsar of Russia, whose entire family was executed at Yekaterinburg by the
Bolsheviks. Damn Bolsheviks! In 2009, Chrysler filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and it was bailed out by U.S. tax dollars. And then they still fired thousands of people, laid them off, and went on extravagant vacations on your tax dollars. Yeah, this is why everything needs to be torn down and built back up.
That's what's happening again, as long as people are in charge.
Yep.
So there's no use.
Yep. Also in 2009, the 7 civilians and the perpetrator were killed and another 10 were injured at Queen's Day Parade in Apeldoorn, Netherlands, in an attempted assassination on Queen Beatrix. Ooh. Yep.
2012, an overload ferry capsizes on the Bhartama River in India, killing at least 103 people.
Stop overloading your fucking ferries! God damn it, stupid people! Swear to God, you want to get over the water? Fine, but patience. God. 2019, Willem Alexander was inaugurated as King of the Netherlands following the abdication of Beatrix. Oh wow, so somebody tried to assassinate her in 2009, and then 4 years later, she abdicated. Interesting.
2014, a bomb blast in Urumqi, China, kills 3 people and injures 79 others.
Dang. And 2021, just last year, 45 men and boys were killed in the Meron Stampede in Israel. I did not hear anything about that. That's awful. Before we get into bursts and deaths, as per usual, any articles grab your attention today? I already know a few.
Chrysler. The finding of Alexei and Anastasia.
Yeah. What about, yeah, I was just about to say, funny Austrian mustache man.
And Dodge selling, Dodge Brothers selling their company. That's it.
Yep, I pretty much share that with you. Like, there's not really that much coming to mind. The Abu Ghraib thing. Let's see here. Yeah, CERN. That was interesting. Anyway, let's get into burst of deaths here. Why don't you start us off?
1310, King Casimir of Poland, or King Casimir III of Poland.
Yep. 1710, bit of a time jump there. That's, 400 years exactly. We have Johann Caspar Basilet von la Rose, a Bavarian general.
1866, Mary Hallinan Didwell Curso, American pioneer dentist.
Ah. 3 years later, in 1869, Hans Polisig was born on this date. He was a German architect who designed the IG Farman building and Groves Sausage House. Sausage House. I'm just going to call it a sausage house. I'm going to look.
Gross.
I'm just going to look up the first one. The first, the second one. That's how do you pronounce that B? Like Grobe or something?
Gross.
No idea. This first building, interesting architecture. Just a building, although it's curved. That's pretty cool. And then the Grove Sausage House is a theater. Pretty cool. Anyway, who else was born today?
1870, Dadashev Palaki, Indian director, producer, and screenwriter.
1878, Władysław Witwicki, a Polish physiologist, philosopher, translator, historian, specifically of philosophy and art, and an artist.
1880, Charles Exeter Devereux Combine, Scottish cartoonist.
1896, we have Hans Liszt, an Austrian scientist and businessman who founded AVL Engineering Company.
1909, F.E. McWilliam, Irish golfer and educator.
Yeah. His full name is Frederick Edward McWilliam. That's what FE stood for. I'm going to put that in the script real quick. Come on. 1914, we have Charles Beetham, a U.S. middle distance runner. Don't beat the ham. It's tender enough. Like, just enjoy it.
1921, Roger L. Easton, U.S. scientist who co-invented GPS.
Nice. Global positioning satellite. If you ever use Google Maps or Waze or any of that, thank this guy and whoever he worked with. 1938, we have Juraz Jakubisko, a Slovak director and screenwriter.
1943, Frederick Shubia, Zambia politician who was the second president of Zambia.
At first, I read his last name as Chalupa, and I'm like, this guy's a bloody Chalupa! 1964, we have Tony Fernandez, a Malaysian Indian businessman who co-founded Toon Group.
Yeah. 1982, Kristen Dunst, U.S. actress.
Yeah. And in 1999, we have Krit Amnui Deckhorn, a Thai actor and singer. Moving on to deaths here, starting us off in the year 65, we have Lucan. He was a Roman poet.
125, and Chinese emperor.
And Chinese emperor. Yep. 535, we have Amal Asunsa, died on the stage. She was an Ostrogothic queen and regent.
1544, Thomas Audrey, first Baron Audrey of Walden, English lawyer and judge, who was the Lord Chancellor of England.
Dang, that's a time jump there. That's, 1,009 years right there. Moving on up into 1550, not much of a time jump there. We have Tabin Shawithi, was a Burmese king.
1672, Marie of the Incarnation, French-Canadian nun and St. Louis, founded the Ursuline of Quebec.
1733, Rodrigo Anes de Sa Alamea y Meneses, first Marquis of Abrantes, Portuguese diplomat.
Good. Also, 2002, Charlie von Mausdorf, German scientist who founded the Gunzer Museum.
I think we missed a couple here. In 1936, we have Alfred Edward Houseman, an English poet and scholar. Do you see 1980, or did I miss something out posting the script today?
I don't know.
Anyway, 1980, we have Luis Munoz Marin, Puerto Rican journalist and politician who was the first governor of Puerto Rico. Do you have
2012, Thomas Borges, Nicaraguan poet and politician who co-founded the Sandinista National Liberation Front.
And in 2022, yes, today, we have Mino Raiola, an Italian football agent. May all of y'all rest in peace. And until I see you on the other side, all that stuff.
Anyway, look, get a pineapple shoved up your ass.
Yes, little Nicky, I loved it. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the description for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes
Showhead TV from Twitch.
And everything on the Coalition, including Muffin's YouTube channel, which still only has one video, but he's working on things. Stuff will be posted at some point eventually. Just be patient. Anyway, for your dose of Passive and Saley, we stream every day between 12 p.m. 12 noon and 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is what time Central?
2 to 5.
All right. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
And me.
And you are you. And until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Let's go, Brandon.